What's up? I told you,
Hey,
he's here. It's
it's me.
Botgrinder. What's
It's
going on,
me.
dude? That's him. He's here. I told you guys. I wasn't bullshitting you. I wasn't lying. He's actually here, guys. It's taken me
True.
about 4 months to get him on the show, and I'm super glad he's finally got some time for us. You know what? He's a busy, busy man. You guys, your questions, go ahead and start answering or throwing them in the chat. We'll try and get to as many as we possibly can. But Botgrinder, man, first
Hi.
off, how you doing today, man? What's going on?
I'm great. I'm great. I bought a new bong, so I'm doing just fine. Better than usual, I will say.
Cheers to that.
And
Cheers to that.
usual's good. Cheers.
Glass or plastic? Double bubble? What did you
I'll,
get?
sh- I'll show you. It's glass. It was what they recommended at the store. This
Oh,
thing from
all
this is I
right.
already had that. It's already filled, but this is just some giant twisty thing. I'm very excited.
Nice.
I never buy myself anything nice because I always break everything. So I'm gonna try my hardest to not break this one.
Fucking love it, dude. Love it. Well, let's dive right into this, man. So
Let's go.
let's rewind time a little bit here before Botgrinder became Botgrinder. Your name's DJ, right? You go by DJ, or you used to?
I go by DJ.
Yeah.
DJ or Bot, both names are interchangeable at this point in my life.
Freaking rad. Let's wind back before DJ or Botgrinder ever picked up his first FPV drone. Don't know anything about it. How the heck did you find droning? How did you get into the sport in the very beginning? What was your first experience with a drone, and how did you get in?
My very first experience with a drone, I had a Hubsan X4. I was still squatting in Philadelphia, until maybe 6 years ago. I was just squatting, homeless squatter, train rider, crust punk, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So I was still squatting in this house in Philly that we had for like 5 years and shit. I bought a Hubsan X4 because I'd seen drones. I knew not racing drones or FPV or anything like that, just like a drone, a big helicopter thing, like right on. I bought a Hubsan X4 and I go down the train tracks and I'd fly it around and I'd come back to the squat, my home, and then I would watch it on the memory, take the memory card out, watch the video, and just be like, I filmed that from the air. Like, that is so freaking cool, And then I had that for like a year, and then I Googled, then I was like, wow, I wonder if people race drones. Like, I wonder if I could buy another Hubsan X4, just like little toy, I could buy another one and my buddy could race them. So I was like, I wonder if drone racing is a thing. And I Googled it and I saw DRL in this order. I saw DRL, Zoe, and then Charpu. And I watched those people's videos and everything. And I was like, I'm doing this. Like, whatever it takes to do this, I am doing this. And then I saw a New York City drone race in the park video. It's probably a 5-6-year-old video or something like that at this point. But I thought they had goggles and antennas coming out of them. And that's what really, really got me hooked, was seeing that you get to buy little antennas for your freaking VR goggles that you wear. So I was really just like, dude, I'm like cyberpunk at heart. Even though I was homeless and stuff, I was always like a super techie. I try to keep up on stuff. Like, this was the most cyberpunk thing I'd ever seen. So whatever it took to be doing this, to own the goggles, like F the drone, fuck everything else, whatever it took just to have goggles with an antenna, that's what I wanted to do. And it turned out to be FPV.
How long ago was that?
Today.
What year was that?
I think May of 2015. No, that can't be right. May of 2016, I uploaded my first YouTube video, and I had been flying for just a few months, but before I uploaded that first video. So I think I'm coming up on my 5th year in May, my 5th year of FPV in May, however math works.
So how did you get your name Botgrinder? Right. Where did Botgrinder come from? Where did the nickname come from?
It's a song, actually. I had a band called Gripe in Athens, Georgia. We were a grindcore band that did pretty well. Like, most grindcore nerds know exactly who Gripe from Georgia is and everything. We were recording our last album. Recording our last album, we had exactly 1 hour left of studio time pre-booked. We had finished everything. Me and the drummer were like, right on, we're done recording that album. It was a brutal day. And the guitar player, who's like the thriftiest dude ever, is like, we have an hour left of studio time. We need to go record 2 more songs right now while we have the studio time so we don't waste the money. And we're like, dude, we just recorded like 20 songs. We're good. Nope. So we had to write 2 songs within 1 hour, record them, and make songs. One of them being the song Botgrinder, about a killer robot. So I wrote that song in like 30 minutes, the lyrics and everything, recorded it. And when I got home, I was like, yo, that's kind of like a cool name, Botgrinder. Maybe I'll use it for an Xbox gamer tag later in life or something. So I got the Gmail, the Twitter, and the YouTube of Botgrinder. And when it came to FPV and I was trying to think of a name, I was like, boom, I'll just use that old Botgrinder thing I never did nothing with. Maybe switch it to something else later. But it's just what it is now. There's
Get it.
no ever going back anywhere. Like for the first maybe year of FPV, I was like, I'm gonna change my name anyway, so whatever. But I just kept using the Botgrinder name.
Fucking works for you for sure. So racing or freestyle,
Totally
man?
does.
What is the
Um,
passion there?
100% freestyle. I've tried to race, like not. I haven't tried to race. I've tried to go around a racetrack twice while nobody was looking, and I got lost both times. So I don't race simply because I don't think I'd be good at it. I would get lost really, really easy. If there was just like an oval track, like let's go, dog. I'll fuck. If I just turn left the whole time, well, turn right the whole time, then I got it.
That's classic, dude. So no desire whatsoever to compete in racing at all, and it's all freestyle for you and videos, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I don't even know if I would like to compete in a freestyle competition because I think that'd be too much pressure for me. I don't like that kind of. I don't like competitive stuff unless it's super friendly. I don't like serious competitive stuff. I don't care for it. Even
Yeah,
if I think I might have a chance, I don't care for that type of pressure on me.
right. That's it's kind of who you are, and I think we were talking earlier
Chill,
about how
bro.
genuine you are and how real you are to people, and I think that's one of the big draws to you. I mean, you've got a YouTube channel that's got over 25,000, almost 26,000 subscribers.
Insane, insane,
There's
insane, dude.
26,000 people out there that love you to death, at
How
least,
does
right?
that work? I don't know how that works at all. I mean, there's at least 1,000 of those are haters, but I'll take the haters all day too. You know,
Well,
if I do
when
if I do something that pisses you off, like yeah, nice.
when did you start that YouTube channel? I mean, 4 years ago, 2016.
Yeah,
What
May
you know?
May 2016, very first video, DVR of me flying behind the lows.
Yeah,
Very
when,
first freestyle video.
so when did it start taking off on that YouTube channel? I mean, it's been the last couple of years that you've really exploded, but your first couple of years,
Right.
you were struggling with everyone else. What do you
So I
attribute?
never, I made the like what I would attribute the growth. My whole tagline was unsubscribe and dislike. So people did that. I had like my early videos, it wasn't just people not liking my videos. That was literally my thing was like, I don't care. Unsubscribe, dislike. And then I did that for a few years. It was only until a couple years ago, maybe past 2 years, I'd say, that I was like, I can make a living with YouTube instead of doing what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like I could actually make a living off this if I played a little. I don't ever want to play the YouTube game, but if I just did it slightly, things like saying subscribe to my channel or
Mhm.
I have a Patreon you can go visit, just doing little things like that I started noticing it, like just giving into the YouTube machine a little bit, maybe making better thumbnails and just whatever screenshot I grab, putting a little more effort into it basically really helped. And then this past year and a half, I started doing 2 videos a week. Every single Wednesday and Saturday, I have a brand new video coming out. I haven't not done that for almost a year and a half or so, whatever it is. So just constant videos, 10-minute videos to feed the algorithm, new spots every time, new content every time. I don't just go to the same bando every single video. Like putting in effort to make new engaging content twice a week is what did it. Is what just skyrocketed it from,
What
struggling at
inspires you?
6,000.
What inspires you to get different bandos, or how do you figure out where you're going to film and what you're going to do? What's kind of that creative process that leads you
That
there?
hey Randy in the chat, I see. What's up everybody, by the way, Vinter and also Dinky Mods and Vinter. I said Vinter, I meant tour de France. I spend the days I'm not flying, I spend the entire 4 days or whatever before that thinking of what I'm gonna do. Of going to Google Earth and scouring New Jersey and Philadelphia for spots and stuff. That's a huge part of my work is finding where I'm gonna go or deciding what video I'm gonna film. Sometimes it'll be like I film typically on Tuesdays and then the weekends or whatever. It'll be like a Tuesday, a video will be coming out the next day. I have nothing filmed. So I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? The last time that happened was my Raspberry Pi video. I had nothing filmed. It was raining. I was like, man, what do I do? So I was like, oh, I'm going to make night vision Raspberry Pi and hook it up to my HDOs because I had the parts in the drawer. So boom, there we go. So some of them are real spur of the moment. Some, I don't plan the content so much. I like to let that happen naturally if it's a flying vlog or something, but I plan the spot out really hard unless it's going to be I'm going to go find a random spot video or whatever. But I've been doing this for a while now. I feel like I have a formula for what I do, kind of. Even if I have no idea what I'm going to do, I know that I'm going to go somewhere. I'm going to try to do something. It's not going to work out. So the interesting part is going to be the thing that didn't work out, and then I do something else, and that's what I make the video about. Just
Yeah,
things like that, like being able to roll with it, just like I try to roll with life. Same shit.
I love it. I love it. It works for you big time. Um, I saw Goddess Randy in the stream and a couple other people, and a lot of people have reached out to me over the last 2 or 3 weeks as I've been hyping up Botgrinder. I got him scheduled, right? As soon as I got you on and I knew you were going to be here on the 25th, I immediately started, hyping it up. And I was amazed at how many people came out of the woodwork with Botgrinder stories on how much you've helped people and behind the scenes stuff that you never talk about, that you never get credit for, and that, people sleeping on your couch or, it's just an open door policy almost, that how generous
Almost.
you are, almost how generous you are to the community and to people at large. Talk to me a little bit about Zoe and your relationship, or how you know Zoe and how that's progressed.
I mean, I haven't talked to Zoe in a minute, but she was just one of the first pilots I saw and looked up to. So when it came time to like meet her and hang out, I was super stoked. We definitely had some good times flying drones, filming videos and stuff. It
Yeah.
has been a minute.
Is there a
Also, hi Yermo.
yeah.
Hi
Is there
Yermo.
love it. Is there a particular pilot that you really enjoy flying with, or that you currently hang out with a lot, that's kind of behind the scenes that we don't really know about?
I mean, I try to show everybody on camera, but speaking of Randy, Randy's one of the good homies. Erica Bandalorian's local, always love flying Erica. I just started flying with Maddie Fleisch the past couple weekends. The homie Izzy. Like, I try to put everybody in if I'm going to go fly with somebody, I'm like, they're going in a video. Typically, if they're
Mhm.
sort of featured in the video, I'm going to put a link, below to go follow their channel, try to get the homie some subs and stuff. But so there's nobody really behind the scenes at all. Like, if I go fly people and you don't see me talk to them or anything in a vlog, it's just because like I was busy breaking shit and didn't have time to or something. I remember, here's the thing is I remember how it was when I started hanging out with people that had bigger YouTube channels and stuff. As soon as they put a video out of that day, I was watching that video and I was just scrubbing through it looking for my parts. You know what I mean? It was super exciting to see myself in Stinger Swarms videos or somebody's videos or something. And I remember that feeling still. So I want people to have that. And like, I'm not saying I'm as big as them or anything, but still you want to see yourself on camera in somebody else's video, how they edited you and put you in it and stuff. I think it was a super rad feeling for me, still is. So I want to do it for people. That's why I try to include everybody in my videos and stuff.
Yeah, that goes back to the fact that you're so generous with your time and with people, and you understand the human element of it, and you don't put yourself first a lot. I see that you contribute a lot to the community, in inspiring pilots and just being yourself and being real. Where did you get that confidence to just be who you are and say, fuck the whole world, I'm going to fucking do what I want to do? Where does that come from? Not everybody can do that.
Not everybody has shot up acid for years on end the way I have. I really do attribute it to the ego death. I attribute it to all the psilocybin and LSD that I've done. I literally I had this crew. It was like the crew of the three. I have threes, 333 tattooed all over my hand. It was our little clan, me and two other of the homies back in the day. We squatted Berkeley and San Francisco, and every drug we did had a purpose because we wanted to know what reality really was, what our purpose was on freaking planet Earth. Why are we here? And we're all homeless, like crust punk squatters, so we had the time to just sit around and do drugs and try to figure life out all day. So we started shooting up acid. We're like, acid is getting us really close to like understanding stuff, but what if we just mainlined it and right to the source? So we started doing that. We did that a lot. So that, I think, really, really helped me just like wire my brain in a different way than most people. Like I don't know. It's kind of it's all in my head. It's hard to explain, but I really just try to look at like all sides, all dimensions of things in as many situations as I can. Instead of just out looking like me, I'm trying to be like, what would this fool think in this situation? What's this fool thinking in this situation? What would like a fucking like somebody of a different like faith or something think of this situation? I try to do that. Just try to think of everything. I don't know if like people do that, but I noticed when I was on acid, I would have this feeling where I'm stepping back from reality and analyzing it in a different way than I would when I'm all inside my head. And that has led to me, not caring so much about what people think of me. That's my I don't give a fuck attitude. Like I do give a fuck, just not about stuff that I don't think is worth my time. That's not really going to matter in the big picture or whatever. My answer is drugs to your question. The acid, I wouldn't recommend shooting it up ever, anything like that. But microdosing is a huge help to a ton of people for a ton of things. Microdosing mushrooms, I highly recommend that. That'll give you a little bit of the like caring about things that actually matter, not so many superficial things in life. And that's a lot of society's pressure. Society's, bombarding you constantly with the way you should be, the way your neighbor is, the way this should be. Nah, man, like be you. As long as you're not negatively affecting anybody else, do you. Do what makes you happy. Do your thing.
I love it, dude. I didn't expect that for the answer, to tell you the truth. But I love it that you're real enough to really share that with people. And I think that
It's the
you
truth,
mentioned
man. It's the truth.
microdosing, and there's so many pharmaceutical drugs and that have so many side effects. You take this and it'll make you feel better a little bit, but you drive yourself off a cliff.
Yeah,
On a
shit and
whim.
blood.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
side effects are incredible, and when nature heals you, it's kind of crazy that nature provides everything that you need out there, and it's awesome that you've tapped into that. It really is.
It, it is. And I'm like pretty against pharmaceuticals, I do not like if you're you're recreationally doing drugs and eating a bunch of Xanax is one thing, but like I'm not into like doctor prescribing you this
Mhm.
pill to take for 10 years of your life to correct something in your brain where a month of like minimal psilocybin doses would correct for a lifetime. Like it is a lot surrounding it, big pharma stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, do you get asked a lot about your tattoo on your forehead?
Yeah, I get a lot. Most of my tattoos I get asked about.
Mhm.
I usually just get like, did that hurt? No, I don't really get a whole lot. Like, what does that mean or anything?
What does that mean, though? Because that's the first thing I thought when I saw this beautiful tattoo on your forehead. I'm like, this is important to him. This means something to
Very,
him. So
very.
what
It's my
what does it
third
mean?
eye.
Hmm.
It's a third eye. It's my version of a third eye. It's a transhumanist third eye, robotic. Like if a robot had a third eye, it would look like that. It's just kind of
Right.
like a little shutter or whatever. And to me, it's my third eye to like that whole my 6D thinking thing I was talking about. It kind of
Hmm.
relates to that. It's remember to look at life not just with your human eyes from your head. Look at life like differently from all aspects. Just get a different view instead of what you're used to and shit.
That's so important. That's
It's a
awesome.
reminder.
So let's
And
talk.
I,
Go ahead.
yo,
Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, before I got it, I thought about for like a year what kind of third eye I wanted. I thought about it a lot, and I felt so weird and unbalanced. And literally right when it was done, I was just like, boom, dude, symmetry. Like even though it's not super with other stuff, I'm just like, I had to have this. Like this was meant to be. It felt very like clandestine. It was pretty cool. Like the
Mm,
feeling was pretty neat.
that is cool to, you know, that's amazing. So what other tattoos do you have? What's your second favorite tattoo?
I like the blackout on my arm a lot because it's like it's just black ink with 3 sessions of white ink gone over it, so it shows up white on the black. I think it's super cool design, and it has my little like transhumanist circuit trace and stuff on it.
That's
I
so
really like that
badass.
one. It was supposed to go all the way up, and I got to here, and that's all super tender stuff. So I'm like, maybe I'm cool with it just ending right there. Like the point, you get the point without the
That's
pain.
fuck yeah. That's cool. So do you use the same tattoo artist, or do you use many? Do you have a favorite?
No, until about 2 years ago, it was just whoever wanted to practice or give me a free one, or would trade me for some weed. Like I've gotten them
Yeah.
under highway underpasses. I've gotten them in like high end shops. I've gotten them in hotel rooms. I've gotten tattoos from every walk of life you can imagine in crazy situations and everything. You know what I mean? Like just I was a hobo for 15 years of my life, so anything from like 1996 till pretty recently, every story is gonna be like I was on the streets and this happened or something. You know what I mean?
So being on the streets, and I'll take my time with this question. There you go. Being on the streets, it really does kind of teach you humbleness and teaches you that every
Mhm.
day is a gift, and you kind of get to live more in the moment, I think, than a lot of people, because you don't have to be caught up in the rat race. You're more caught up on what am I going to eat today and what are we going to do today.
Yeah.
What lessons did you really glean from that? I mean, what did you walk away when you are you ever going back on the streets, or did it teach you something, or are you moving on with it? Kind of give us a glimpse into that.
Wait, was the first part again? Sorry.
No, that's all right.
Like the humble. Wait, no, what was it?
Yeah. So
Uh,
what'd you
Go ahead.
learn when you were out on the street, and what did it really teach you fundamentally, and would you ever go back?
I want to go back the way that I used to do it. I want to go back. I mean, no, never go back to the streets like the way I was. I want to live on land. I want a simpler life, so to go back in that aspect, I want things to be simpler. I want less stuff. I want the point of my life to be closer to survival, than anything else, which it's maybe my life right now to some people is just survival, but to me this is like crazy extravagant. You know what I mean? Like I own a house and a fucking Prius and I got a little bit of money in the bank. That is insane to me. Um, but really, what I learned to appreciate just small stuff. That's what you know. I think a lot of people. I know I have a few friends that were in the same position as me and they're doing great in life, and they all seem to donate a lot of money to causes to help a lot of people out. They seem to remember what it's like. You know, every time you see somebody panhandling, you're not like, I bet they're gonna use the money on drugs. Yeah, here's some fucking money, man. I have some money in my pocket. You at least check. You know, I feel like a lot of people's immediate reaction to a panhandler, and not that it's wrong. You see the same people all the time. You know, it's gonna happen. It is just to like walk by and not really think about it. If you have money, just walk. But you know, people like me, you always at least freaking check or hand somebody $1, no matter what, even if they're like out there screaming at you or something. Like, whatever, it's a fucking buck. I got it. Take it. You're homeless. You know, like definitely, even if it's for drugs or something, I don't care. Go be happy. You know, go hang out and not have to stand in the hot sun for a minute or whatever. I think it teaches you to like not assume people's position in life either. Not assume that you know where somebody's been or anything. Like I've been very, very surprised. I've had people. I'm like, this fucking look at this rich yuppie over here in his nice fucking car. Like they could totally afford to give me some money. Like fuck them for not doing that. You know, like that's whack as shit. I've learned to not be like that pretty quick when I was traveling because I would have people be like, yo, bro, fuck, let's go. You want to go to the camping store? You want a new tent? Just like the nicest, coolest people that like could afford. Even people that couldn't afford it. You know, super hooking me up and stuff. I feel like that was more common. Was you'd see the blue collar person all dirty getting off work, pull over, handing you a $5 bill or whatever. Then the person dressed nice in a nice car that just drives right by you or whatever. People that have had to struggle and work for things tend to be more giving to other people that they see struggling, I think.
Well, you've definitely paid it forward in a lot of circumstances. I can tell you that. I mean, you have great karma. You must. So, are you developing any products? Are you making any frames? Are you doing anything in that realm?
Yeah, I have my Botgrinder banger frame. I think it's coming up on a year or two old now, but it's like the strongest frame in FPV for real. Anybody that runs the banger has the same thing to say about it. Like it just does not break. It is tough. I got my Botgrinder motors out. I'm working on a V. Oh shit. Yeah, I'll say it. I'm working on a V3 of my motor. This is actually an exclusive.
Nice.
I haven't told anybody yet. I actually just talked to the manufacturer today about it. So there you go, dude. Bone Jar exclusive. Botgrinder V3 ultra durable motor is what we're going for. Ultra durable motor coming out. I have no idea when, but it's going to be worked on soon. That's coming up, but I just have my usual stuff. I got my Botgrinder shirts and all. I have a whole line of grinders and weed trays and a stash box, dab sticks. I have a whole line of stuff like that on the TBS website. I have a lot. I got you got the shirt. Oh yeah, that's a Zorro design right there for me. That's one of my favorite ones actually.
Nice one. Yeah,
that's a super sick design.
I wear it in pride every time. So,
Franz has said, Franz in the chat said he's known me for 11 years and I still charge him for stickers. That is true. I have the bulk of my income, like 90% of my income is my Patreon, and Franz is an amazing enough friend to be a patron, even though I'd probably just send him stuff for free if he asked me. So I appreciate that, bro.
So Patreon is an awesome way to support you. Where can I buy a frame? Where can someone go get a Botgrinder frame?
You can go to bqe.io. That is my buddy's frame company who makes the frames. You can buy one there, but they're also on most online retailers, Pyro, Get FPV. I think RDQ might have them as well. Most of them have them.
Awesome. And you have a merch website, don't you, that has all of your merch on it?
I have shopbotgrinder.com. I stole the idea from shopmrbeast.com, I think it was. Shop Mr. Beast. Yeah, so it's shopbotgrinder.com. But when I masked the URL, I didn't do HTTPS, so sometimes it comes up as a malicious site, and it's totally not a malicious site. It's just Teespring. I just forgot to tell them it was HTTPS when I did the thing. So it's fine. You can just go to Teespring and search Botgrinder. It comes up. But I have a whole T-shirt store in there. Amazing designs from like the best artists in the industry. You know, I got Miss Creature, Zorro, Maddie Blunts, Bamf Decals. Nathan does some art sometimes. I got some pretty cool stuff.
Your shit is dope for sure. I mean, it's
I appreciate
it's
it.
a head turner. Seriously, when you show up at a race or you show up anywhere where other pilots are flying, it's immediately recognized, and it's like, fuck yeah,
I love it. Yeah. I love that. And here's what I think too. Like, it's kind of a secret symbol to be like, oh, this guy, he's got a Botgrinder shirt. This guy is cool. Like, you want to go to the back after the race? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like people see other people Botgrinder shirts and like, I get your style, bro. I know. I see what you're about. You know,
Yeah,
like
you've al-
like
yeah.
I am. There's nobody else like me in FPV. Like,
Mhm.
I'll fucking say that, and that was on purpose. Like, I am just me. Like what
Mhm.
you're seeing now is who I was fucking 10 years. I was kind of more of an asshole when I was younger, but whatever. Same person.
Who
Like
is it?
I saw when I started FPV, I saw how kind of mainstreamy everything was. I saw everybody using generic music. Not there was no punk person. There was no crazy punk guy in FPV. So I was like, well, tight. I'll just be the crazy punk dude in FPV, and that's how it fucking is. You know, there's still, I mean, there's a ton of good pilots. There's a bunch of fucking rockers and punkers in FPV, but I like to think that I was the first one that got well known. You know, like Tom
Fuck
Smith
yeah.
is more of a metalhead. I'm like fucking anarchy punk rock and shit, like the real fucking deal.
Grindcore. Grindcore
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
I was
Yeah,
the lead singer of a grindcore band for 2 years, like a fairly popular one.
yeah. No, I've definitely listened to a lot of your music, and it's it's fucking awesome. If you're into grindcore, it's definitely
Yes, if
you
you're
wouldn't
into
know
it.
you wouldn't know it was you singing. You know it because
Yeah, quite a range, huh? You like that range?
yeah.
I do the highs and the lows.
So digital or analog? Where are you out on that spectrum?
I want to fly digital, but I just, part of the being an anarchist, I don't support bullshit fucking companies, and I just hate DJI as a company, as a corporation. I detest DJI, so I'm analog all day, rocking the Orcas. I love my Orcas. Good people, good company. They support the hobby. They give back to the community. I'm all about some Orcas. They're working on an HD system though, so if the Orca HD system is good, I want to switch to that. But
Hmm.
for now, like I'm just fine on analog. I don't fly too cinematic-y unless I'm doing some little gig thing, which is few and far between right now. I fly like pretty fast, aggressive freestyle, and analog is just fine for that, for my type of flying, for my purposes.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, you mentioned DJI sucks ass. DJI drone just got discontinued, right? They put it out, and then 2 weeks later, hey, we're not doing that anymore.
The
Um,
FPV drone got discontinued.
yeah, well, they're changing up a bunch of stuff on it, and they're not going to put out V2s anymore, and there's a bunch of controversy on it. But it's
Hmm.
interesting that DJI is kind of a leader in photography drones, and to dip
Yeah.
their toe into the FPV world, it just seems I don't know. What's your opinion on it?
So my whole issue why I'm like fuck DJI, like the goggles look beautiful, the HD is crispy, like nobody can argue that. It's the company and the way they go about things. So I don't want to see like DJI, 10, 15 years ago was a cloning company that not even that far back. Geez, they were a cloning company that would just clone other people's products. They had a bunch of money, big backers. Now they're in with the Chinese government. I'm not like Chinese government. I'm just saying they have the money from there and everything to deal with
Mm-hmm.
stuff. They would just clone people, no patent laws. They just pay it off. They just had money to get rid of stuff, clone people's stuff, put out their products and all that. There was these little fighting robots this company made. They sent me to do a review, and they had to discontinue them because DJI straight up stole the code from their robots and all their stuff to make their little DJI robot thing that they made. Like the creators of this little robot were like, yo, if you go into the code of the DJI one, there's still notes from our engineers because their thievery was so sloppy they didn't bother to delete like our notes for our robot. There's still references to like I forget what the fuck it's called, but there's still references to their robot in the DJI code and stuff. Like just super shady stuff. So I don't like them as a company for doing stuff like that. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to support them. I'm like, there's good companies out there that make FPV products. I want to support those companies. I want to like fuck with those companies and shit. And Orca was one of them. So, I
Definitely.
picked Orca for my analog needs. I don't want to switch to digital unless I want to switch to like I want to support a good company. I don't want to give DJI any money. And part of that
Mm-hmm.
is if DJI gets more of the market share, smaller companies can't afford to keep up. They drop off. They're not companies anymore. And all you're left with is DJI. And being a
Yep.
big company, seeing how they're already operating, they're just going to fucking lock you into their ecosystem and you're not going to be able to do shit but fly a DJI drone because your DJI goggles are only going to connect to that drone. And you're not going to be
Mm-hmm.
able to buy any other goggles that are HD because ain't nobody can afford to make them.
Yeah, a
That,
lot of
that's my
valid
rant.
points. No, that's
That's
valid
my
points.
that's my DJI rants. Like
Mm.
basically every reason I talk shit and don't like them summed up. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And again, this is my opinion coming up as like a fucking anarchist into the thing. I don't shop at Amazon either because I don't like their business practices. I don't shop at fucking Chick-fil-A because I don't like their anti-gay discrimination practices. I don't shop at Walmart. They kill off small, shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're fine shopping with these companies, yeah, of course, fly DJI. It's just my opinion, how I want to live my life. I don't want to support these particular companies, so I don't. And I might, I guess people some ribbon about DJI now and then. When it really comes down to it, I don't care. I just want everybody to have fun and fly FPV and have a good time doing it. I am just slightly more conscious about like where my money goes, and I in no way mean that to like look down at other people and how they do their life. Like, you do your life, dog. Go at it. If you're not affecting me, like, freaking right on. That's just how I go. That's just my thing. You know what I mean?
Well, voting with
I
your
just don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Voting with your
I just don't want that
dollar
rant to make people think I don't think I'm better than anybody. Whoop-de-doo for doing this shit. You know what I mean? It just it's like how vegetarians. I was vegetarian for a long time. Personal fucking choice. It grossed me out to think of eating the inside of an animal. I was never like, you should quit eating meat. That's an animal. It was my fucking choice to do that. Now I eat meat. I don't fucking care. It's whatever.
Yeah, bacon
Still kind of gross, but
bacon is delicious. That's my
So
my one thing about vegetarians. Like, but have you had bacon?
But have you had bacon? Exactly.
Bacon,
I do.
fuck.
I do this shit where I just don't eat things that I think are cute. So I basically only eat fish and fucking. I eat a lot of turkey bacon, so I eat a lot of turkey and chicken, but I won't eat like beef or lamb or fucking pigs or nothing like that. They're just kind of cute.
Nothing cute. I love it. Don't
yeah,
eat my
I don't want to. Don't eat nothing cute. That's how I go about my shit.
So, building or buying ready to fly? Where are you at on that? Go ahead.
I would like to see us at a point where there are good bind-in flies. I would like to see FPV at a point where there's good ones. I don't think we're there really yet. We're kind of close. I think everybody should build because you're going to need to know where to repair. But also, you look at like RC cars. Like you don't buy kits that often. A newbie doesn't buy a kit that often. A newbie buys a ready to run. They break it and they learn how to fix it. In FPV, it's kind of backwards. Everybody suggests you build it yourself, learn how to build, then learn how to fly, then learn how to repair, program, and all that. So I would like to see FPV where there are just good bind-in flies, and you can learn how to repair your shit after you break it, instead of having to be overwhelmed building from scratch and everything.
Yeah, definitely. It's essential needs, really, because if you don't know how to build it, you're not going to repair it for sure. Well, let's talk about some building tips. I mean, I've seen you can get any quad in the air. It doesn't matter. You're gonna figure out how to get that sucker going, and it's amazing what you can get to fly.
It's perseverance, man.
Give some building tips out there. What's some best practices when you're building your drone?
Right off the bat, if you can afford it, don't buy some bullshit like Hobby Wing ESCs who've been making ESCs for various RC crafts for 30 years. You start with the Hobby Wing ESC, you're not gonna fry all your other components that are attached to that. You know what I mean? I've been running the same 2 Hobby Wing ESCs for 2 years now. 2 years.
Wow.
Every ESC, I was replacing ESCs monthly before this. And Vanover, I was getting so frustrated. He was like, dude, just buy a Hobby Wing and stop fucking around and breaking everything. I was like, fine. I bought 2 Hobby Wings. Same 2 I've been using whole freaking time. Like building, it really, if you can afford it, it starts with the quality parts. And like, you can't overpay for stuff in FPV, but I found generally it's expensive for a reason in this hobby. You know what I mean? You can get a stack for $50, get a Mamba stack $50. That's a good deal. You're gonna have to buy another one in 3 or 4 months when it burns out or burns up your VTX or something. I've been using like Radix is a good flight controller. Starting with quality parts in FPV actually makes sense. A lot of things don't. They'll be overpriced just because it's a brand name. But FPV doesn't do that. Like Rotorite does that, in my opinion, a bit. They overcharge for their stuff because it's their brand name on it. But a little frame company like BQE, like you're paying for what you're getting. You're definitely getting the quality you're paying for.
Yeah, that's excellent advice, guys. Make sure you
start with
take
good
notes
stuff.
there. The ESC advice alone is gold right there because that fries more than anything.
Yeah, so that's like your base of your electronics build too. A good frame to protect all your expensive electronics in there. Like my arms don't break, my frame don't break, and a lot of frames break arms, and if you have single ESCs, there goes your ESC. You can pull motor wires out. Like why break if it doesn't need to break? Spend a little more money if you can. Totally get it if you don't got the money. Yeah, I didn't have the money. I bought cheap shit for a long time until I got sponsored and got free stuff. That's why I pushed to get sponsored so freaking hard. I didn't have the money to buy the nice stuff.
Well, let's let's run down the sponsors. Who are your sponsors right now? Who backs you?
So it's a new year, and I haven't talked to anybody really about anything yet. I had more defined sponsor setup before, but I kind of just been slowly doing more and more of my own thing and moving away from stuff. But the people I get free stuff from and rep are definitely BQE making my frame. So BQE, Fox Ear is a big sponsor. I love their stuff. They actually have a new mini Reaper 20x20 flight controller ESC combo, and the ESC is a rebranded Hobby Wing. So I'm like, oh shit, tight. I love my Hobby Wings, but I want to rep Fox Ear, and I can do both. So one rig actually has that stack, the mini Reaper. Fox Ear, Rush VTXs. I love my Rush VTX. I get my stuff from them. Brain 3D, I still listen to as an official sponsor, even though I don't really use their I'm still using the same old ones I had, but I have some other mounts that don't really break. I've just been using them. But they were one of the first people to help me out in the beginning of my career, so I will always rep Brain 3D. Like, that's the homies. Definitely still a sponsor. I can get stuff from them if I need it. I just don't need much these days. My printer's going right now. I'm forgetting somebody, and it's gonna suck. I'm forgetting. I'm bad at this. Last time I haven't really fucked with Spawn. Get FPV. Boom. There we go. Get FPV is another one. Like, I love their Xylo lipos. So the other day I hit them up. Was like, can I get 5 lipos? I lost like 5 this past couple months. And they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. So Get FPV is definitely one.
You lose 5 lipos by running them too long, or
crashing and popping them,
smacking them?
These ones in particular, I only chopped the balance lead, which I could totally repair, but they were old. They're like a year old anyway. Like, I've been running the same 8 lipos for over a year too. Xylos, they're cheap and they freaking last forever. But I've been starting to do more flying and farther away, so I need more lipos, and I'm down to like 6. So I was like, oh, I need some. And I could have repaired the balance lead, but my house is all wood. I have no insurance on my house, so I don't like to fuck with any type of lipo safety at all.
Smart man.
Like, if it's sketchy, I throw it away rather than burn down my house.
Yeah, good. That's excellent advice. Who is your favorite pilot out there right now? I mean, of course, besides me and you.
Right, of course. All-time number two favorite pilot besides you is Gap It. Like, I still watch Gap videos before I go rip to get stoked and shit. I love Gap It. But new pilots, there's a lot out there. Elites, like, I can't pick just one. But Elite's been killing it. Elite FPV. Billy Hackett is fucking insane. He's out in the Florida nights diving parking garages and shit behind palm trees. Like, Billy Hackett's awesome. Slat FPV is fucking killing it. Roido, whose name I always say wrong, and I'm sorry, he's fucking killing it. Who are some other new pilots? I do my live stream every Friday, so I get to see a lot of good pilots. Matty Blunt's I always love watching. That's a given. He's killing it lately. God, who else do I always like? There's some. I subscribe to a lot of people, but I only hit the bell for some because they're I want to see fucking rippers. I want to see people getting it.
Fuck yeah. So, who's your favorite YouTuber?
Lately, it's hard to pick just one of everything because I'm so fluid with the shit that I like. You know what I mean? Like, I'm super into something one day, next week I'm like super into this fucking other thing. But Zack Friedman lately, he's like just a maker, a really cool maker. I've been really enjoying him. I actually talked to him a few times, and he's gonna do or he said he would do like a little skit for a video for me, which was cool. I was trying to get him to collab on some shit. I watch a lot of I have Corridor Digital, the whole Corridor crew. I love them. I watch like CinemaSins and shit and like Game Theory a lot. I watch a ton of YouTube, like a good 4 hours a day. I'm just watching YouTube videos, smoking weed, like doing notes for a video or like whatever, trying to get inspired enough to go film.
Yeah, it's amazing. YouTube is such an awesome platform for people who just want to get their material out there, and if it's good, people follow it, and it's not necessarily if you've got the most sponsors or the most money behind you. It's just you're putting out good content, and I love that about YouTube. So what other hobbies do you have? I know you grindcore and sing and punk, but what else do you do, man? What other hobbies are you into?
I turned 40 in October, so the grindcore life I left behind. I can't sing for band. I'll pull my back out on stage, and that would be so embarrassing. So I don't. No more of that. I've always since. I've lived in a house basically as like an adult recently. I fucked the Raspberry Pis. Like, I've always really been super into computers and like hacker stuff. You know what I mean? So as soon as I wasn't homeless, even when I was homeless and I'd settle down for like a few months at a time, I try to like find a cheap laptop or some bullshit so I could like learn how to pirate videos and music and things. Like, I've always just been super into tech. So when I started living in a house and being a real person, I just went hard on Raspberry Pis. So that's been a constant. Like that's what I really fucked with before FPV was I just make little Pi projects and stuff, and that's still something that I do a lot as a hobby. I like to do a little light graffiti too. I really like doing just under bridges and behind abandoned building graffitis and stuff. Gives me a little thrill, and it's part. I'm not very artistic at all, but I'm not good. I don't even want to say I'm good. I'm not terrible. I'm not the worst person at it, so I enjoy that. Just finding the right color combo and stuff is real pleasing to my brain. I like doing that. Um, it's really about it. So much of my time is FPV and the channel and stuff that really like. These are just things I try to do shit that I can just like chill out with, and like Raspberry Pis and like drawing in my black book is shit I can just chill out with.
Right. I mean, it's amazing that you have a life that's completely supported by FPV, correct? I mean, this is what you do,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, that's the dream, really, is to do something that you love to do.
It's fucking crazy.
Did you ever imagine when you first picked up that first drone that, hey, this is what I'll do for the rest of my life and do this?
Well, I don't think it's gonna be for the rest of my life. Like I understand I'm on a finite timeline with YouTube and FPV and shit. I really well I have a lot of people being like, nah, you're good, you're in from now on. But I really don't think I'm gonna be doing this forever, like YouTube or it. Although I'd love to, I would love to fly FPV forever and do YouTube and like have a huge fucking channel and shit and buy my land I keep talking about. But I don't know. I kind of in reality don't see that really fucking happening. But
Well, have you thought about where you see yourself in 5 years? I mean, it's not a job interview or anything, but where's Botgrinder 5 years from now?
Don't say doing your wife. Don't say doing your wife. Doing your dog? No. I my entire goal with FPV right now is to save up enough money to buy land because I want to open up an FPV park. I want to open up bot land or whatever. I want to buy 10 acres and just have it be like the sickest place to go fly drones. You know what I mean? Like not even just here's what I say. My pitch is not even just some like shit in the woods. I want you to come in and you feel like you're in a fucking miniature city. I want there to be so much shit everywhere. I want to have faux buildings out of just plywood up, I want you to feel enclosed like in a miniature city that's just like the best bando to rip ever or some shit, like the best spot to rip ever. I want it to be like intense. Big goals for it. And that starts with getting 10 acres. So everything I'm doing right now is saving up and working towards buying 10 acres to turn into an FPV park. So if it is all said and done, I got that at least, you know what I mean? I can just host events. I can host freestyle competitions. I can host races. If people are like, hey, I want to have a freestyle comp, I'm like, come on down. I got the land, set it up. Let's go. Like still be a part of the scene, which I love so much, FPV.
I never knew that, and that's amazing. I can see going to Botland myself as a vacation destination. Seriously, that's like FPV Mecca right there to think about that.
And I want it to be a public park, maybe you pay $20 for a fucking year pass and that can just go towards like porta potties for events or something like whatever. And I want to set aside like an acre for camping. So it's all, just come out for free, whatever, fucking pitch a tent, camp out, fly, have generators and stuff. Boom. Just like a really, really fun time for people.
I love it. I love that concept. East Coast, West Coast, are you bound to the East Coast, West Coast?
Yes. Within 2 hours of Philadelphia, because this is where I live right now in this house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna. I own the house, so I'm not fucking going anywhere. And realistically, to do as much work on this land as I need to do, it's gonna need to be within 2 hours of me because I want to go out there every day and work on it. You know what I mean? Constantly, even when it's never gonna be done. But I want to like work on it as much as possible and get it going as fast as possible. And I know myself, and I'll drive 2 hours. To fly every day, no problem. 2 hours home. If it's farther than that, I'm like, oh, it's kind of a whole thing. So to realistically work on it a lot, it needs to be kind of close to my house now, like within 2 hours. And I've been finding property like, 30 grand for 14 acres, 25 grand for 10 acres. Like there is property in Pennsylvania. I just need to get on making a GoFundMe and get it all together.
Yeah, that awesome. You got my. I'm a Patreon supporter. I will be a FPV park supporter. A couple of years ago, when you first started that, I thought to myself, this is a guy who's contributing in a big way to the community and should be supported by the community. So if you guys aren't a Patreon supporter yet, a Botgrinder, get out there and do it, guys. I mean, nobody else gives back more to this hobby than he does. I guarantee it.
Appreciate it.
Where do you see the hobby in 5 years? Where's FPV heading?
Barring like corporations bringing regulations on us and stuff. That's a big worry of mine. Is DJI getting into the game, Google, Amazon. Everybody wants drones in the freaking air. So I'm like, man, that's gonna affect us like as hobbyists and stuff. So if it doesn't go full dystopian in 5 years and we're just basically like restricted to little parks or something, I really do see it getting a lot bigger. Like the tech, man, what's the tech going to be like in 5 years? We're due for like a big innovation. Things are kind of plateauing right now, so we're definitely ready for something to come out that kind of changes the game a bit or something like that. Freestyle trick wise too, I think, man. I think we've plateaued on the tricks and everything we're doing. We're just doing them with more flair now, but some shit really needs to happen. Like I'm going to start trying to grind more and doing more like slide tricks and stuff and just different ways of doing things. I remember I come from skateboarding, and I remember when skateboarding seemed kind of to plateau-y. You'd wait for the new like VHS tape to come out in the mail, and you see what the skaters have been working on the whole past year, all these new tricks, and you'd be like, "Oh God, what they're doing this now? Like shit, I got to go out and do that now. Like that needs to happen in FPV." And I realized like I can help that along, so I'm trying to work on new. I think in 5 years it's going to be a lot gnarlier. I think some weird trick and freestyle is going to be really commonplace that somebody makes up that we aren't doing right now. Maybe some tech will aid in that. I think we're definitely going to have better bind and flies in 5 years. All this barring more regulations and stuff. But I think there's going to be some like a real market for strictly freestyle drones. Things that are like, this is a freestyle fucking drone, like the double kick skateboard. We need our double kick skateboard. We need something for freestyle.
Love it. Pineapple on pizza. Where do you fall on that?
Yeah, dude. Pile it on. Pile that shit on there.
That's the right answer.
Give me it.
We're 5 for 5 now on that question. Everybody knows.
Hell yeah.
Sativa or indica?
It don't matter at this point in my life. It's all the same. I don't even look anymore. It's for years now. Just give me some weed, dude. It's gonna affect me the same. I'm gonna be kind of tired, kind of hyped either way. It's like I should be on a lot of pills. I was on a lot of pills, but I gave it all up a while ago just to be on weed. So it maybe it doesn't help everything the way it should. It helps most things the way it should. I'm a fairly happy person these days.
Yeah.
I have this cat.
What's your cat's name? What's that?
This is corn. This is Cornbread. Cornbread the cat.
Dude, Cornbread. What's up, Cornbread?
She's pretty cool for a cat.
So if you see a kid on the street, brand new pilot, or he's just getting into it, what advice do you give him? He wants to do freestyle. Never picked up sticks before, but sees your videos and says, I want to be that guy. I want to fly insane like this guy. What do you tell the new pilots? Because you're fearless when you fly. You don't care,
Yeah, never have. A little bit, but not really. It depends on how many backup motors I have, how fearless I get, really. But my advice, like never flown before, get a tiny whoop kit. That's what I tell everybody. Get a tiny whoop kit, fly the sim. Like get the kit, but buy Tango 2, and then fly in the sim, and just that stick time is so invaluable. It really is. It's you can. There's nothing more you can do to help yourself become a better pilot than just fly all the fucking time. And then the things that you have trouble with will just be you won't even think about it because FPV is so just boom instantaneous. You'll just be doing that stuff while you're working on another hard thing. Then that'll just be easy, and you'll be able to link all these things together and just be a sick fucking pilot. It is stick time. You cannot replace that. You just gotta. Some people are better off the bat at FPV. Some people like me, it took me a long time to get better at it, but I flew every single chance that I got. Like legit, when I started, I didn't think I'd ever come along this far, but legit when I started, I said I want to be the crazy punk guy in FPV. So I'm going to practice every day. I was like, I'm going to fly every single day till I get good and get sponsors and stuff. And I would have band practice, and there'd be like a party after, and I'd be like, no, and they'd be like, you're going to go fly your fucking drone. I'd be like, yeah, I'm trying. I'd literally say to my friends, I'm trying to be a professional sponsored drone pilot. So I worked towards that every single day, for years until it happened. 2 years or so until it happened.
Is that
with a good amount of setbacks too, and shady companies trying to take advantage and things.
Is that the only thing in life that's really inspired you to that level of no matter what, party's not important, FPV is important?
That's literally the only thing that has ever affected me that much in life that I felt that passionate about, that I saw as a viable, maybe I didn't even see it as viable back then. I just really wanted it, so I went for it. Nothing else in life. Maybe like getting off heroin. I was pretty fucking passionate about that. But besides that, nothing that's, I'd never had a goal that big or anything. I've never worked this hard towards anything in my life. I never knew I had it in me to work this hard towards something. But now, dude, it's fucking sick because I'm like, oh shit, like anything really. I'm just like, I want to get better at this. So I have the confidence now to be like, cool, you have to do it for like a year every day straight. But after that year, you'll be like fairly decent or have a really good base and like whatever the fuck it is, you know? Like I've always done light graffiti and I've never been that good, but I've been spending the past 6 months every day like doing little sketches and trying. And I'm like, oh my God, like my 16-year-old self would be so fucking proud right now of what I'm fucking doing. Like just anything. Like if you have a little bit of confidence in something, it goes a long fucking way.
Do you ever think there'll be little bot grinders running around?
Fuck no. I don't want that, and I don't think biologically it could happen. I don't think I ain't got no baby making sperm left or nothing. I think the drugs and abuse in my life have fucked that up for me. But I'm not. That's not me. You know. I don't think I'm here in this life to care for a child, to raise another person to go into the world. I think I'm here for everybody else. I don't think it's for my own child or me even. You know.
Dude, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, you're very tuned into the universe. There's no doubt about it, and it's kind of weird.
That acid, bro. All that acid.
So you mentioned Sims earlier. You know, you got to get some Sims and some stick time. What are your Sims? What do you like to play? What Sims are you into?
I only play Liftoff. I feel like they're all like some will fly better than others, but I don't really care for the nuances in them. I have Liftoff. The Liftoff dudes are pretty fucking cool. They bought me a gaming PC because I got their logo tattooed on my leg years ago. So I just play Liftoff when I play. Like it's whatever. People are like, oh, Velocidrone. Like I'm sure maybe the physics might be better to you, but Liftoff flies just fine to me. I like that game. I was playing the Skater XL mod because Leafy FPV hooked it up and got me Skater XL, and there's a drone mod that Cinco? Shit, I forget his name now. Oh, my bad. Somebody awesome made a FPV sim for it, so you can skate and then switch to camera view and fly a drone around the skater, and it's really addicting, really fun. In fact, my Twitch channel, Botgrinder, the last video was of Skater XL of us doing that.
Nice.
I think. No, wait, maybe it's the one before that. Yeah, it was Rocket League last time. Whatever, it's on there.
So, well, besides Liftoff, what other video games do you play? I mean, what video games are you into right now?
I'm FPS dude all the fucking way. I love my shooters, but I was playing Warzone a ton, but I became an addiction. Like, and I'm somebody who can't moderate things. I have to just abstain. So I uninstalled it literally like 10 times before this most recent time I installed it. I'm like, just fucking put the pipe down, dude. Like, I'm good. Like, no Call of Duty. And it's like Warzone's fun, but it's full of hackers and so buggy right now. It's not even worth it. I like to play Sandstorm. Who makes Sandstorm? Freaking God, what's the other shooter? Vinter's in here. God damn it, what's it called? Insurgency. Insurgency's a really cool, more like real life shooter on Steam. So I like playing Insurgency a lot when I don't play Call of Duty. But I like my Switch games. You know, Monster Hunter drops tomorrow, so I'm playing a lot of Monster Hunter. I like little like roguelike games. You know, it's a little indie roguelike dungeon crawlers. I like playing those a lot recently. Me and Stingy used to play the shit out of Risk of Rain 2, but we ain't played that in a minute.
Nice. So when you play online, do you play with your same group of guys that you always play with, or do you just
Super
randomly show up?
Deluxe? Oh, Super Deluxe a lot because he's always down to game. Whoever's down to game, and mostly people on Discord, because that's like my friend group online is my Discord right now. So I go in there, I'm like, hey, who wants to fucking play games, homies?
Love it.
I don't think I brought water up here. What an idiot. Oh well. I didn't bring any water.
If you want to grab a water, you're more than welcome to.
We're too deep. We're too deep in the thing. It's all good.
Right on.
Super Deluxe is in the chat and said he's gaming right now. See, that's my dude. Super Deluxe is always fucking down for gaming. Rocket League's another one that I like, but I haven't been playing it a lot.
Right on. Who do you look up to? Who do you think is somebody that's a decent role model for you? And then a follow-up would be for other people. But who is a good role model for you? Who do you think, fuck, that guy's got it together? I should be like that.
Nobody really, man. I'm not like, that's not my vibe. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm me.
Mm-hmm.
And not that it's wrong to take inspiration from. I take inspiration from other people, but not like with people's success or anything. You know, maybe I'll fucking like see somebody going out of their way to do something cool, and I'm like, oh shit, that's cool. I should like do that sometime or something like that. But not that I'm like into myself, because it's not like that. I don't have like a role model. I don't aspire to be like anybody. I aspire to just be like the best me. You know what I mean? Like I kind of just flip it back. I think Keanu Reeves, as far as like a celebrity, I think Keanu Reeves is fucking crushing it. I really honestly don't think that man has any like crazy dark secrets or anything. I think he's just a cool fucking dude that does good with his fucking money and doesn't like ask for fame for or anything. But who knows? Maybe he kicks dogs. I don't fucking know. He's a
No,
guy who knows.
you know,
I don't trust rich people, but if I had to assume, I would assume Keanu's a good dude and probably a good role model for people.
fuck yeah, I agree with that 100%, dude. That's so cool that he came to your mind because he's got a lot in common with you as far as giving back and not getting credit for it, and not caring about the credit. It's just doing it to do something good, and I think that's
baller, right? That's the coolest fucking thing you could do. Is like if you're in a position to do it, do that shit and hook somebody up and like never let anybody know. That's the coolest fucking thing you could do, in my opinion.
That's fucking deep life advice there, people. Mark that down. Rewind, listen to that 2 or 3 times. So how did go ahead.
I'm just also somebody that's had so much help in my life from everybody, you know. I was the asshole that was always struggling, that never had money, that always fucking needed, and so many people fucking helped me, and now I'm doing okay, like not financially, but like in life, like I feel very secure in my life and everything, and I'm you got to give back. You know, when you've had as much help in life as I have, you have to fucking give back if you're doing okay.
I love it.
I just feel fucking obligated.
So, beers with Botgrinders. How did that get started, man? That's like the fucking coolest thing on Friday nights ever. Like, if you guys haven't, if you haven't checked out Beers with Botgrinder, fuck, it'll change your life. How'd that all come about?
It is so fun. I fucking love it so much. That was just like, who was, I think Schizo had done a couple live streams. Mr. Steele had done a couple. It was like real common for people to do FPV live streams. They, the more known fellas had kind of just like done personal ones. It was like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, let's just talk to chat and stuff and get super chats. So I was like, sick, dude, I want to do that. So the very first one was called Getting Drunk and High with Botgrinder, where I just had like my shitty 2011 MacBook, and I opened it up and used the webcam and just like, hey, smoking joints. Like, what's everybody doing? You know, I had like 10 people in there. It was super awkward. I think it's still on YouTube. But that just evolved into what it is now. I forget when it was, but at a certain I remember exactly when it was. It was when FPV Life stopped doing streams every Friday, because Lance of FPV Life, he would stream every Friday, and he got like personal life took over and he couldn't do it, so I took his time slot. And I remember being like, I better just keep doing Fridays or else people are gonna like take it over. So I just kept doing Fridays out of spite of other people, so they wouldn't be able to take that time slot because it was the juicy one, you know. And I just kept doing it, and it evolved into what it is now. And it's not even Beers of Botgrinder, because I don't really fucking drink anymore, so now it's just the Botgrinder live stream, because I didn't want to lie to people about the beer thing. But you know, partying is still heavily encouraged during the stream. But now there's a contest. We have sections on the show. Like, I know what I'm doing half the time on it. It's pretty fucking crazy. And legit, like, one of the funnest times I have during my week is doing that live stream and hanging out with everybody.
I know it's a total highlight for me, for sure. It's something to look forward to, and the end of the week to just chill out and just have a good laugh. And it's current. There's a lot of cool stuff that you guys talk about. So make sure you guys check that stuff out if you have not. We are sponsored by pyrodrone.com, and it's time to pick our $15 winner. The $15 gift certificate that they're giving away, no strings attached. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the button. If you don't mind announcing it, that'd be fucking cool. So
yeah,
the winner is...
The winner, where do I see it at? The winner is in chat.
Yep.
They won a Lemon Buzz TV. Congratulations, Lemon Buzz. You win a $15 gift card to pyrodrone.com. This can only be used on clear props, though. There was one caveat. He was lying to you. You can only buy clear, high-pitched props, but you got the gift card. Congratulations.
Fuck yeah. That's
Lemon
so
Buzz
cool.
TV.
How many states have you been to?
All of them. Every state you can get to by freight train, and one of the countries by freight train. So, like, just no Hawaii and Alaska. But by the time I was, I think, 25, I had been to all continental states. And it was only until 25, because Michigan was one of the holdouts, because I had no reason to go to Michigan except to cross it off my list. So I'd been to almost every state by the time I was like 22 and shit from traveling pretty much. No, the Dakotas in Michigan were some of my last ones. So Yeah,
That
that's most of them. Shit.
that is such an amazing little tidbit about you that you have traveled and are so well traveled and been every different place on the in the country, because there's so many different viewpoints and so many different people from region to region.
It's insane the differences.
It really is, but to go and get that knowledge and that experience to know that, hey, things are different here than where I come from, I think gives you such a well balanced and well rounded feeling for people.
Yeah, and I was born in Southern California, so my view of the world was like, oh, it's nice everywhere and everybody's nice to you and shit. It was like, my first time in Pittsburgh was a fucking shock when I tried to fight a guy and he was like, all right, let's go. And I was like, whoa, wait, no, you don't actually fight. Like, you just talk about it a lot. You don't, bro, what the fuck's your problem, you know? Shit. It was culture shock a bit, yeah.
Yeah, I always say West Coast people pretend like they like you. East Coast people tell you how they feel.
That is 100% true. I'm like, West Coast people be nice to your face, talk shit behind your back. Somebody on the East Coast will tell you they're like, people on the East Coast are so rude. No, they're just real. They're just not fake to your face and then talk shit when you leave or whatever. Like they'll
Yep.
tell you, fuck out of here, man. I don't really like you or whatever. And I was more like that my entire life, so I definitely feel way more like an East Coaster than West Coast. I still have my West Coast some habits, but I'm fucking Philly all day, man.
Love it.
This is my coast. I like bricks. Fuck a bunch of wood and concrete.
Real people are much cooler. Is
Yeah.
there a place that you would want to go to that you haven't been to?
So I'm like super scared of flying over water. So if water wasn't involved, I would like to go a lot of places, but um I mean, I would love to see more of the world. I just don't really know what's out there. I'm fairly ignorant when it comes to geography and shit. Like I dropped out of school in ninth grade and I didn't pay attention in school the years I was in it. So I really am bad at like where shit is or what other things are even like. Like my whole knowledge of other cultures and countries just from homies that live in other places, just asking them what shit's like or fucking whatever. Pretty bad at that. And so I don't know where anything is. Like I remember I saw pictures of New Zealand and shit, and that looked kind of cool. And like XJet lives around there, so that might be kind of, or he lives in Australia, but I think somewhere around there it might be cool to visit. But I have no reason why except I saw it in some photos and stuff, and it looked all right.
I love
I
it.
went to Montreal because you can ride a freight train from the Philadelphia skate park and sneak into Montreal over the border on a freight train. So I did that and hung out in Montreal. And after like it was cool, I loved Montreal, but after like a month or so, I really just needed to come back to America where like shit made more sense to me because I've been here my whole damn life. I don't
Mhm.
know if I could live. Even though I'd like to sometime just to experience it, I don't think I could live anywhere else. I'm pretty much fucking American, you know. I'd like to be more world traveled. I just don't think that's cut out for me.
So, if I or if you had $1 million to give away, and you could
Yeah.
give it to anybody in the world, who would you give it to?
Mm. It has to be one person.
No, no, no. What would you do with it? But you got to give it to some. You got to give it away. You can't keep it.
Right,
What
I
do you
can't
do?
keep it.
Yep.
I probably just try to buy houses for as many people as I could. Yeah, just as many houses as I can for people until it was gone. So, I mean, my whole thing is like rent is theft. That's why I squatted and shit for so long. I just cannot see. I can see why because you have to, but I could not myself personally pay money to live in a fucking house that somebody else owned. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
worked at a place called Bargain Network when I was like 20, and Bargain Network's whole shtick was for the price you're paying for rent, you could be paying half that in mortgage and own your home in 10 to 20 years. I say that fucking line every day at work to people, and I'm like, holy shit, that's true. I think that really fucked me up with paying rent. So I never wanted to. I was like, no, why would I ever pay rent? If I paid rent, I would pay a mortgage or something to own the house because that's such a huge waste of money. Like, how much money do you pay in rent? That's just to stay in a house. You get nothing from it except you're not homeless. I guess that's a pretty huge plus. But I was cool with being homeless, so I didn't want to freaking pay rent. And me owning my own house now was super freaking cheap. Hustled my ass off and got it. I'm not paying rent allows me to fly FPV for a living. You know what I mean? It allowed me to just live my life instead of having to work all that extra just to pay rent. Like, could you make $300 a month pretty easily with minimal work? Right? My bills are $300 a fucking month. I split them with my girlfriend. Literally, all I need is $150 for the bare minimum to pay bills, and then of course you need food money and stuff. But like my overhead is pretty fucking cheap. It's pretty awesome because I own the house. It affords me to.
Right.
So I would, if I were to, $1 million can do a lot of good. I'd like to do the maximum good. So I would buy houses for well, $25,000 shitty house, but whatever. You don't pay rent. Figure it out after that. Buy as many as I could for people.
Who do you give the houses to?
How do I decide who gets it?
Yeah.
See, that's the freaking thing. If this were to happen, boom, right now I had to go do it, I would just go on my block and find the families that are paying rent and be like, there, you know what I mean? Like,
Take
if
care
I
of
had
the
more time
community.
to, oh yeah, definitely. The people that are so freaking cool to me and accepting, yeah. Like I'm like the only white person for a huge, huge radius here, and everybody is so accepting of me and so fucking cool that I'm like, I love my block, dude. I love my fucking neighborhood. People are like out of their way to make sure like I feel part of the community and shit, and I really, really appreciate it.
That's so fucking cool, man. You mentioned your girlfriend. How long you been with her?
Coming up on 2 years in April.
She a keeper?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely,
What's the best
definitely.
part?
She's fucking amazing.
Yeah, why? What's the best part about her?
Just ain't no bullshit. Been a lot of relationships, a lot of bullshit for bullshit's sake. Well, I think we both recognize what's worth arguing and what's worth being passionate about in life and stuff. Like, there's no need feeling shitty and arguing over some bullshit that doesn't really need to be. Just because one of you is in a bad mood or something and doesn't want to like back down. We're both like, even if there's a small thing, like we've never really been in a big old fight or nothing. There's been like, tension, but we're both really quick just to be like, man, it's not a fucking big deal, whatever. That's huge in a relationship. Both of you being able to like be the bigger person almost, or recognizing when is not the time to fucking make a thing a deal or whatever. We're
Guys,
both pretty good at that.
I hope everybody took notes on that, rewind it, the video, and listen to that again because that's the best damn advice you could ever give someone on a relationship. It really is.
Yeah, friendship, dating, any relationship with another human, just keep it simple. No fucking trip over small stuff.
Right on, dude. What inspires you to do what you do? I know you mentioned a lot of slamming acid, but really, what when you wake up in the morning and you say, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna fight through another day and make it to go to bed again. What inspires you to do this?
Like just being alive,
Yeah.
man. What inspires me to like I've been in survival mode my whole life. That's just probably what it is still. I don't need inspiration. Like I'm still just trying to fucking figure out what life's about and just be alive. And like I try to live. I think I'm more hyper aware of how short our lives are than a lot of people because I am like outside of my head a lot. So I really every day just try to, I'll sit around some days and just smoke weed and watch videos all fucking day and do nothing. But I enjoy that. So I
Well,
really just try to make the best of my life. So I don't really have an inspiration to do stuff. I am just like, let's go, motherfucker. I wake up, be like, fucking shit. What's today gonna be about? Let's go. I don't try to control anything. I just let life really come at me. I have always said like, life's just the ocean, man. You just ride. You just ride life. There ain't shit you can do. You're just along for the fucking ride of life. Don't try to fight it. Just go with it and shit. Just roll with the punches and all that.
dude, that's awesome.
Vinter Chaos, did you read that comment? Because he is 100% correct. He says, you, Ed, are fucking great at this. He's seen a bunch of
Shut
the
up.
bot interviews and some other FPV ones, and this has been the best one. And I agree with that. This is fucking great. You are very good at this.
Well, actually, it's all the guests, man. You're an interesting person to talk to, and 100% you're real and you're genuine. And I think that's the key to life is to be who you are. And nobody in FPV by far is who they really are. You don't front anything. And
Because I have nothing to lose either, man. I got nothing to fucking lose. I'm just doing my thing. I happen to be documenting it,
Well, you were with Rotor Riot for a while there, and you
Yep.
know a lot of people were just fucking shocked when you just walked away and said, "No, this ain't for me. I don't fit in."
No, it sucked.
And that took more courage and more understanding of who you are and what you want than I think anybody out there realized. Can you kind of talk to us a little bit about the experience that you had with Rotor Riot? And I mean, you guys are still good. Everything's fine, but I mean, I don't know anybody out there who would walk away the way you did.
I mean, that ain't what I'm about, man. They're that corporate life. Everybody, no, I'm not gonna say everybody involved, like the pilots and shit, but everybody up top, in my opinion, they're just about making that money in that corporate life, and it gets excused as that's business. That's just business. That's what you got to do to make money. I could give a fuck about making a bunch of money, so I'm not about to rip people off. I'm about like one of my biggest gripes. I worked for Quadbox. they would have a different artist every month. That was one of their selling points. We got a different artist in the community every month doing art. They did not pay those artists. They did not pay any of those fucking artists. Their whole thing was get them to do it for free and tell them that their name will be on, 500 shirts, that they'll get exposure. The whole thing is you get exposure. We don't need to fucking pay you. And like, these artists could give a fuck about your quad box exposure. This is their living. Like, they charge $500 for like a custom piece. They're going to do it for $100. Like, can we give them $100? And I had to fight so fucking hard. And I only got to pay like 3 artists because I just dipped out after that. I only got to pay like 3 people a measly $100 for them to make like some pretty fucking good art, custom one-off pieces just for this box that they did not own rights to after that. Like, quad box guy, just bullshit like that, business stuff. And people, it's just business. That's good business. You maximize your profits. I fuck business. Like, people are people. I want people to do well, not a fucking business and 2 people at the top of that business and shit. So when I got involved with Rotor Riot, I just saw how big business it was. They ripped me off for some shit, it fucking, just a whole bunch of treating me like fucking shit. And when I protested and wanted any sort of compensation at all from Rotor, I was working for Quadbox at the time. Any compensation, they didn't give it to me, and then I got fired from Quadbox, which I knew was coming. So I'm like, tight, I have nothing at all, no job, no backup. I'm gonna go back to working in a fucking kitchen. And then I made a Patreon, and thank God that worked out, because I really had like no income at all at the fucking time. Patreon took off, and I was like, oh, fuck yeah, dude, I can just do my thing. And that's been helping me be more and more independent from companies and stuff and just doing what I want. And like, I talk shit on Rotor Riot a lot in private just because I get riled up because I'm still angry a bit at the whole fucking thing, because I don't like people fucking people over. But I want to talk a lot of shit in public. It's done. I just don't want to like hash it up. It's fine to ask about, and this is what happens. When I'm asked, I start being like, fuck them pieces of shit. And I don't want to be like that all the fucking time. In private, I'm talking to my buddy, fuck those pieces of shit, but I feel like they did me TLDR. I feel like they did me dirty. I don't fuck with them. I don't recommend anybody going into business with them fucking ever,
Sure. It speaks volumes to your character that you can say, you know what, my values and what I stand for is way more important than money. And that's just so rare in today's world. So,
I was making $2,000 a month with Quadbox, more money I've ever made in my life. That's a fucking lot of money for somebody who used to get $800 a month paychecks. Like $800 a month, $2,000. I was like, fuck, it's a lot of money, but fuck that shit. I don't want to deal with their bullshit and people off. And I'm glad, because now I have all these relationships with the artists that they wanted me to rip off. And if I hadn't been like, fuck this, I'm out, they might hate me and be like, no, Botgrinder fucking ripped me off and shit.
Yeah.
It's much more important to me to have good standing with people than to make fucking money and shit.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, you have to sleep with yourself at night. At the end of the day, it's your conscience means more than anything.
Like, I die right now. I'm a happy fucking man. I think I've led a good life. I've led a very full life. You know what I mean?
Let's not do that. Let's not do that. But yeah, yeah.
But that's where I'm at. I could die right now and I'd be fine. So my life from here on out is just bonus round. So I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do and like be happy and shit.
Well, Botgrinder land is definitely on my vacation plans. I know that's going to happen. Anything that you set your mind to, it will happen. You put those balls in motion, and they will roll. And I think the community will support it. I think
it's gonna be great. Fuck yeah.
Let's start the GoFundMe today. Let's get that sucker going. Let's start putting some dollars towards it, because you've got 25,000 subscribers on YouTube. Let's everybody give $100, right?
Everybody gives $2 and we have the land. If each subscriber gave $2, we would have the land.
Did you hear that, people? You need $2. $2 each. I want my $2. Send it to freaking Botgrinder.
The GoFundMe, the reason I haven't started it is because I want it to fucking boom, hit the ground, super running, and have the money within a month. I always say my biggest fear would be I start it kind of half-assed, money trickles in, it's at $7,000 of $50,000, and it never really goes anywhere. Because then I would just give all the fucking money back. I want to like have a sick video, have a piece of property with my eye on already, or a few of them obviously. I want to like have a lot of stuff in place, make a really good fucking video and shit, have like an artist rendering of how like a pro-ass presentation for the GoFundMe, because I want to make it in a fucking month. I want to make 70,000. I want to exceed the goal, make 70 grand in a fucking month, buy the land, buy 4 cargo containers, get them bitches out there and start the whole thing, Guys, I want it to be like Flight Test about the golf course. I want it to be that fucking exciting and stuff.
Guys, it's going to happen. It will happen. So please, everybody, support the hell out of this man. Botgrinder, we're about 20 minutes over where I normally go, but I couldn't stop talking with you because you're most fascinating guest I think I've had on the Bone Jar, and definitely someone I've looked up to for a long time. I think all of us can aspire to really be our true selves and who we are, because that's where joy in life really comes from, is to be who you are. So I'm super appreciative that you were able to spend some time with us tonight. And everybody out there, please go to his Patreon, support this man. Make sure that all of our dreams come true with Botgrinder Land, because that's the bomb, dude. That's the coolest shit I've ever heard. So,
it can be amazing. It'll be the world's first like soul freestyle park. You know, it could be great.
Fuck yeah. Well, it's been a blast for me, guys. If you guys haven't subscribed to his YouTube channel, if you're not one of those 25,000 people, make sure you go over there and do that. Say bye to the kitty cat. And DJ, I can't thank you enough, man. This has been a great experience for me. I've learned a lot, and I think I'm going to go drop some acid after this show. So.
This was a good one. I've been on a few interview shows. This was a great one. You do good work here.
Oh,
definitely
thanks,
highly
man.
recommended.
All right, I appreciate the shit out of that. Botgrinder gave me a thumbs up. I love you, man. So be real, always be who you are, and rewind this stream, guys. Watch it 2 or 3 times. It'll be on my YouTube channel. There's some damn good life advice here that you can pass on to others. So you guys,
knowing is half the battle. Remember that. Knowing is half the battle.
Any other parting words that you want to say before we dig out of here? Anything you want to say to the crew?
No, just fucking be you. Just do your thing. Just do your thing.
Right on.
It's the only life you got. You only got one, man. Do your shit.
Do your shit. All right, yeah. Botgrinder. I'm going to hit the ending screen, and thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate you being on my show. And
thank you for having me.
Take care, buddy. You are the genuine real deal.
Excuse me, sir.
Out of the way, pick.